everybody, welcome to a Friday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. You guys know this is a comedy show, but it's also a sports show. And this is a show where comedy and sports collide. If you don't know, now you know. Let me already bring in two comedians who've been known from all over the world, from traveling the world of comedy. They've been in comedy films, film festivals. They've been in so many comedy things and everything else. I'm sure the stuff blurs because they just done it so much and done it for so long. First up is my man Talent. You know, you guys have known him from films, also TV shows, TV specials, and everything else. And my man Fig, who also done the exact same thing. He's in the building too. Where we guys talk about a lot of stuff comedy related. But now the show is called Box Seats. Gentlemen, how you guys doing today?
I'm good, brother. I feel excelente. Still in birthday mode, baby. It's just comedy, drinking up.
Man, I'm fair to middling.
Okay. All right, first up, man, we always do every day. We do a COVID report. And I got to throw this one out to you, Talent. This one might shock you. Then again, it might not. I'm gonna start with you. Jed Hoyer plays for the Cubs. He is upset because the rest of the Cub players are not taking their COVID-19 vaccinations, and he said the Cubs are not reaching what is they need to reach the 85% COVID threshold for them to get back into, you know, the normalcy of what they want to do with having people come in the stands and everything else. And he feels like he's the only one out there. Meanwhile, the rest of his Cub teammates are kicking against him. What's your thoughts about that?
Well, I get it, man. I said this a long time ago. In and out of sports, this was going to become a problem because everyone's not on the same page. You're going to start getting that we're vaccinated, we're not vaccinated. First, it was the mask. Right. Now it's the vaccine. So here we are in sports. He has a valid point. This is his workplace. And you're asking me to go to my workplace and my other coworkers are not vaccinated. So I get it. He has every valid point in the world by making that statement. And I think that's going to be one of those things, Frank, where the organization is going to have to put its foot down like a lot of other corporations. Right.
I agree with you on Fig. What's your thoughts?
Man, this is a difficult one, man, because everybody seems to be torn. The United States government is saying one thing, the president, the vice president, the CDC. Then you have the governors of different states mandating something completely different. Then you break that all the way down to individual corporations, which a baseball team is. And it creates a whole can of worms when everybody is not on the same page, man. It's difficult, and everybody's family dynamic is different. You never know. This player might have some family members at home that have compromised immune systems and what have you, and he just doesn't want to take a chance on taking that back to his household and have somebody lose their life. It's difficult, man. It really is.
You can't get mad at nobody who is concerned when it comes to COVID, because like Fig said, it's very difficult. And if I could be a carrier and might bring it home if I'm a player and give it to somebody else, which is, that's what's crossing the line. But we can talk about that, but I don't want to go into that. The subject I want to talk to you guys about is another one of those subjects that I find that nobody else is talking about. So I'm gonna throw it to you first, Talent, and then Fig, I want you to respond. We might talk about this for a bit, is because it's very interesting. If you guys remember, a couple of weeks ago, I brought up something about the overtime basketball league. Remember this when we talk about the high school basketball league? Okay. Yeah. Well, guess what? Day before yesterday, 2 6'9" Florida twins who were supposed to go top ranked into some college programs. Everybody's been looking at these guys. The two twins. They're in the top 15 high school, juniors. Their name is Matt and Ryan Bentley. They both signed in high school as high school juniors. So actually sophomores going to juniors. They both signed a 2-year deal with Overtime League, getting at least $100,000 a year in high school. Now, again, the thing that we talked about is if some top level high school players go do this, it could be an avalanche of players starting to do this. And I'm sure college basketball programs and D1 schools, hell, all of these schools, D1, D2, D3, all of them have got to be concerned, because if high school players are starting to go, can you see what's getting ready to happen here, Talent? Can you see?
Yeah, I can see it. In the famous words of Malcolm X, chickens are coming home to roost.
Right.
You've gotten away with a century of not paying athletes that have to risk injury and all these other things. And impoverished families and communities to hope they make it to a league to get some sort of compensation. Everybody's not going to be LeBron. Everybody's not going to be the $100 million man. So that hope and a prayer is just really to make it and get there. So now you're starting to pay these young cats. Chickens have finally come home to roost. And if I'm the NCAA, and everybody beyond, yeah, I'm worried. It is going to be an avalanche.
Rick, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I'm so happy for these young players, man. I don't know what to do, but there's one thing I'm going to say, man. This is a two-edged sword, man. Because if you'd have gave me $100,000 in high school, whoo, boy, I tell you, I have about 15 baby mamas. Oh, man, do you know what it was like in high school if you had lunch money?
Right.
Huh? If you had candy, if you could buy a chick a soda, dude, in high school, and you talk about $100,000, that means these high school kids can actually have a vehicle, like a fly vehicle. Do you know how many young ladies would be interested in you if you're a high school basketball star with money? Right. Oh, Lord. I hope they have some guidance.
You know something? I'm going to say this to both of you. There's only 16 teams, right, in the league. It could easily expand to 32 teams, easily, because you guys know how this goes. Then it could easily even bleed into baseball. It could even bleed football, hockey. Overtime could literally murder, and I mean murder, college sports the way we see it. So my next question to you guys is should the college programs be concerned? Because the way that they could stop all this, all the college basketball programs got to do, I don't know if you guys figured this part out just yet, but all they got to do to stop overtime and kill overtime is to pay the players going into college. That's all they got to do. That's all they got to do. What's your thoughts, Talent?
I don't think it'll stop it. You're right. That's an option that people, quite frankly, been begging for a century. So even if they get to the point where the college people say, okay, you know what, we're going to finally pay these players, I'm like, Fig, what's to stop me from still getting paid with the overtime league as well? Because I want to buy that girl lunch.
Right.
I want to get a honey bun, some butter crunch cookies. Everybody know in high school, you bought a girl some butter crunch, you got the booty. Yeah,
but if you in high school and you fresh to death and you go and you get $100,000 in your high school, you know what you're doing? You buying kicks. You're gonna have at least 10 pairs of kicks. Yeah. You're gonna have some gold chains.
You should.
Blinging.
But now here's the question to ask, Frank, on top of that. So if in high school I'm making $100,000 a year, and the NCAA say, man, it's overtime, we need to start paying these guys. So here's the real question. Is it going to be a scale, or does the bidding start like for the NBA after your rookie contract and you start going out there testing free agency? Does it become like that where this guy's coming off of high school, $100,000, we got to give him 150, 250. And then the average guy who didn't play overtime who comes to college, we give him scale, which is 500.
Well, before I throw it to Fig, you guys got to remember the rules. The rules is if you play in overtime, you are automatically not available to play in college ball. You're automatically not available to play in everything else. You can get drafted by the NBA, but you got to go overseas and then you go from here, overtime, then go overseas, and then you can come back. You know what I mean? You can do that. But you skip over the NCAA thing and you lose your eligibility to go in the NBA unless you already become a professional. And the only way you can do that is if you go overseas. So now you're getting paid. You're getting paid by high school, then you get paid by the pros overseas because you're going to be pro overseas.
Then you
come back with pros in the NBA.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
What about the G League? Because the G League, they get paid. You can't go to the G League.
You can't go to the G League and anything like that yet. You got to go from overtime to professional overseas and then come back to possibly the G League. But you can't just go straight to the G League. So what's your thoughts?
Man, listen, I'll tell you like this: the players that did play overseas, they seem to do very well. I believe we talked about it either yesterday or the day before, where we talked about the all of the Africans that came over. We talking about and how well they were able to do. Talk about Giannis. Although they call him the Greek Freak, is by way of Africa. Some of the European players, Luka Doncic, even LaMelo Ball. went overseas and played for a little while and come back. Those players that have an opportunity to play overseas, for some reason, they come back and they do very well in the NBA. So I don't see that as a negative, man. I see that as something that really, really, really works, man. And to give these guys $100,000 in high school, possibly to make more overseas and then come back to the NBA. I don't see the losing here, man. It seems like a win-win situation. I believe it's what you said, Frank. I think it makes the NCAA step up and make these guys eligible to play.
Let me ask my man Rodney Perry. Rodney Perry, have you been listening to the conversation?
I just walked in the studio, brother.
Let me get you in real fast, updated. Here's the situation. 2 6'9" Florida twins who are ranked in the top 15 high school players are the best players in the country. And right now they're supposed to be 1 and 2 as sophomores. They just signed with overtime to go into their junior year. They just signed the overtime. And if you recall, when I told you all about the overtime league about a couple of weeks ago, they're going to get at least $100,000 per year. So now they're going to be $100,000 to be paid their junior year and $100,000 to be paid their senior year. And then the conversation was, could this be the death knell for NCAA and college basketball as we know it? Because here's a quick thing. They only doing with 16 teams. They could easily expand to 32 teams. And then you're going to have football. Then you're going to have baseball. Then you're going to have hockey. And I said to Talent and I said to Fig, the way that they could stop the bleeding with overtime is if college basketball, college itself overall paid the players. Otherwise, they do. What's your thoughts on all this, Rodney Perry?
NCAA is never ever going to pay players,
Right?
Ever. They're not.
Right.
But this is the thing. Tradition dies hard. So there are people and families that want their children to get that degree for whatever reason. Now, we've seen over years with people like Kobe Bryant and players like LeBron James that come out of the league and they forego college almost altogether. And so because of that creates a vacuum where you need something like that league. So I think that league is important for those guys that are beyond that. But I think there's going to be enough players to want to play in the NCAA for them to continue as is.
Okay. All right. Which leads to my next topic. I want you guys to pay attention to this part too. The next topic is, I know you all been following this Kwame Brown thing. Incident is going on back and forth. I know you all been following it, right? And he's been talking, about them. They call each other everything. My hypothetical question is, Alan, I'm gonna start with you. Do you think Kwame Brown, who got drafted straight out of high school, went to the pros? Do you think he should have played college ball, and would he have been a better player if he had went from high school to college instead of going straight from high school to the pros? What you think?
Absolutely. I think a lot of people make that jump for the simple fact that they have the physical or the athleticism, and that leads them to believe, I could just skip this part and go right to that, not knowing what's required in the mental stability. You know what I mean? The mental capabilities are just as important as your physical capabilities when you go from children to grown men.
Right.
You skipped a chunk in there that's horrible. You ask any comedian that had to stop doing comedy for however long and come back, it's like learning to roller skate all over again. You know what I mean? So this dude, that's what happens when you go from high school, is selective anomalies that can do that. You go skip a big chunk, 4 years primarily of schooling. So you go from young boy to grown ass man.
Right.
I don't know nobody that could go from young boy to grown ass man. I left my mother's house in 10th grade. I screwed all my laundry up the first time.
That's very true. You do that. That's very true. Fix, let me ask you this.
All my clothes was instant tie-dye.
Yep, that happened to me too. Fix, let me ask you the same question, and then I want to ask you something additional to that. He brought his mom a house at 18. Was he forced to go and take that and not even use college as an option? Because he brought his mama a house. He really wanted to buy his mama a house. Financial was the thing. That's the reason why overtime is probably going to do so well. People are forced financially to do this. Kwame Brown, same thing. What you think?
Sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes a college education is really just another carrot that they put in front of black people to be able to achieve what we consider to be the American dream. And then a lot of times, even with the degree, there's a glass ceiling and only so far they let you go. So I understand with the different communities that some of these players come from, being poor, impoverished, you know, a lot of violence and stuff like that. Somebody giving you a contract or putting a contract with millions of dollars in front of your face, it's kind of hard to turn that down. I truly believe that if Kwame Brown would have went to a different organization and had a different leadership, he may have flourished differently. There's something that I learned is that he was really ridiculed as a young rookie at 17 years old coming into the league because he wasn't ready to live up to his #1 draft pick status. So I believe if he would have came under a different coach, maybe like a teaching coach, maybe like a Larry Brown or something like that, I believe his career would have been a lot better. But who's to say that you're a failure if you made millions of dollars and you were able to get your mother out of poverty and to be able to buy her a house? What kind of failure is that in any neighborhood?
That's a great point. That's the point of the day right there. Rodney Perry, what are your thoughts on this whole situation? Should Kwame Brown have jumped in, gone straight like he did? Should he have gone, you know, because Fig bring up a great point. That's an excellent point. How you call this dude a failure? Everybody calls him a failure. He brought his mom a house. He's a multi-millionaire. You know, what do you think?
Never judge a man's success until you know what he wants, right?
Yes, sir.
You don't know what a man wants. It's very, very difficult to judge that. And I've been watching the videos, man. He seems a bit frustrated. They're painting him like he's out of his mind, but the reality is he's an NBA athlete, and he played in the league at a high level. Should he have achieved more? Maybe. But the reality is he made it there, and he made it there in a major way. And so if you're him, it's always relative to yourself, man. When you look at your legacy, how your family looks at you and your friends look at you, that's what matters, man. So I wouldn't let those people bother me if I was him. Should he have went through college? Maybe. But none of us is going forego that opportunity when Michael Jordan called.
Yeah, that's true.
When MJ called and said, "Hey man, come play with me," you going.
Yeah, not to mention he didn't know he was gonna get bullied. He didn't know the situation he was walking into. He was 18. So
I mean, and that's a lot, man. It was a lot for LeBron. It was a lot for Kobe. It was a lot for was Dr. Duncanstein, for God's sake. So,
Darryl Dawkins,
yeah, for Darryl Dawkins. So making that transition is a lot, and hopefully being a college student will buffer that. But it's a lot. There's tons of guys that can't make the transition from college to pros. So it's an elite class of people, and everybody don't make it. So I mean, I think Kwame has been making a great point, and he's also looking at people like what's my man in the light skinned dude that he was talking about?
Matt
Barnes.
He looking at he looking at Matt Barnes like, you ain't great.
Right.
How you shut up, Matt Barnes?
Yeah, and then Matt Barnes came in the league a much older player. Like these dudes had so much opinions on him.
Matt Barnes can't talk about Kwame Brown.
He can't. I'm agree with you. He can't. He shouldn't have said nothing.
So I mean, I would like to see the guy get some get back, but I think he should let this whole subject go alone, man. He did his best, and everybody don't shine like that. So, man, God bless you, man. And your life ain't over.
The one thing that I hope it doesn't come to is that it doesn't go beyond this. I hope it ends right here, because we know how crazy fans could get, you know what I mean? And it went to that level with Biggie and Pac, and we just hope that it doesn't get to that level. I just hope that it stops here, because we've had enough of that.
All right, let me move on to the next subject. Let's see. I got a lot of stuff I wanted to cover today, and I think the thing about Nate McMillan jumped off my plate this morning, because I was like, wow, Nate McMillan didn't lie, but he got fined. Now we all saw Nate said that the NBA wants the Knicks in the playoffs. Nate said that the Knicks have a huge fan base. Nate said that obviously a lot of people are thinking that they're going to do well in the playoffs. And he said, you know what, even though he's the interim coach and everything else, he expects that they will get calls going their way and everything else. So Nate is not the happiest camper right now. But the NBA fined him for $50,000 fine for saying he thought his mind. You know, so I don't know about you all, but I'm like, he ain't lie about nothing. The Knicks do have a huge fan base. The Knicks probably will get a lot of their calls. And the NBA does. Like, what if you own a business? Why would you not want one of the largest fan bases to be in the playoffs? He ain't lie. Tell what
well, he lied. He did lie because.
How you lie?
I'm about to tell you. Give me a second. What shows do they do that at?
This one.
He put the camera on me and said, "I need lie." Let's keep it real. You can't say, especially in his position, you can't say, "Oh, they're going to get the calls." That part. Do they have a huge fan base? Absolutely. Do the league, not just Silver and them, the execs, everybody wants the Knicks in there. It's more exciting when the biggest city, the biggest fan base is in the game. Duh. That part is true. But you can't also go to extend it and say, "Oh, they're going to get the calls." And blah, blah. Don't do that. See, right there? That's putting the shit in the game. That's called putting the shit in the game. Because now you psychologically reverse psychology. If I'm a ref and I'm watching this, I'm like, well, I don't want to be that guy, make it look like it's fixed. So now I may hold back some calls that I should be making just because I'm worried about how I look to this accusation of something that didn't happen yet. That's for regular fans and fans only to sit at home. Why? Because we don't have a nickel in that dime in the executive boardroom and decision making and play calling and calling fouls and calls on the court. We don't have a nickel in that. We can say that as a fan with a TV. But as a guy inside, we can't say that
at all.
Okay, Fig, what do you think?
I think that I think that it's hyperbole and manipulation, because the Knicks haven't been in the playoffs since, I believe, 08. So 09, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, all the way up to 2021. Ain't nobody made no special calls for the Knicks to get into the playoffs. Now, all of a sudden that we in the playoff, all of a sudden now, because the Knicks got a lot of fans, all of a sudden the refs is going to be making preferential calls for the Knicks. Where were they the last 15 years or so making calls? And how you start this and you ain't even played one game yet? Not one game. How about this? We beat the hell out of Atlanta this entire season. So why do we need calls now? Because we're in the playoffs. Why do we need calls to beat Atlanta? And we've been kicking their ass all season. We don't need no help beating the Atlanta Hawks. We've been doing that. So why do we need it now? I think he's just like Taylor said, he putting shit in the game, and we didn't even play the first playoff game yet. It's not even till Sunday. And now, why are you complaining and we ain't even played one game yet?
Rodney Perry, your thoughts?
Well, there's always a certain amount of gamesmanship, guys do, coaches do. And why not introduce the shit? Mm-hmm. Your guys have been getting their foot to their ass. So you wanna kind of manipulate the game. Should he be fined? Absolutely. He should be fined. For making me as the commissioner have to even see this on my desk. I'm gonna fine your ass just because I had to look at it today. Nathaniel, what the hell you doing, Nathaniel? So yeah, man, fine Nate.
All right, okay, all right. I'm gonna let him go with that. Let's talk about the NBA, because obviously we're talking about an NBA coach who, you're right, he shouldn't have said some of that stuff, but I don't see how you get fined for your opinions. I don't understand that. Like, that's
you can't
do that. You can't just say you
this ain't baseball
and say bomb. I mean, we got freedom of speech, but you got to have a respect for where you are and what you're doing.
I tell you what, Frank, since you don't understand, get you a job at McDonald's and give away the secret sauce. You know what I'm saying? Go give away that secret sauce. See what happens.
Hold on, you started making me laugh with the get yourself a job at McDonald's part. All right, let me ask you all this. The next question is Russell Westbrook went off last night, right? He went off last night. Dude, 6'3". He was two rebounds, I think it was, short of getting another triple-double. You know, they smoked Indiana. Nobody saw that coming. I know I didn't see it coming.
Nobody saw that coming?
That's why I rephrased it and said, I know I didn't see it coming. Some people might have said, yeah, I know I didn't see it coming, you know, the utter dominance like that. I'm going to ask you, Talent. Russell Westbrook is balling. How far do you expect the Washington Wizards to go in the playoffs with Russell Westbrook doing like he's doing?
Well, he's a madman. He will give you the Russell Madman Westbrook, but I don't expect them to go that far in the playoffs. I think they may give a hell of a competitive rally this first round coming in, and that's it. Maybe 6-7 games, but I don't expect them to come out on top. You know, that's just my assessment. I don't think they have too few weapons to go against anybody that's in the playoffs right now.
All right, Fig, what you thought?
You know, I expect Russell Westbrook to do what Russell Westbrook does against lower seeded teams, because he's just ferocious, man. He is probably the most ferocious player that we have in the game today. But at the end of the day, it's never really it's never really added up to wins, man. So it just is what it is.
Rodney Perry, your thoughts? Because it looks like the Westbrook and them are going to go up against the Sixers, bro. Look like they
76ers, man. You know, 76ers to me got some question marks, and you know, I mean, if it wasn't just Westbrook, like if his boy was 100%, his second in command was 100%. You know, the way he was playing when they made that run in the season, then you could really look to them, because them two guys is great together, man. So I think my colleagues are kind of right that we might not. I mean, the Wizards, if they get out the first round, that'll be great. But the cards is stacked up against them. But I mean, they gangster enough to make some noise. And if the Sixers come in here like they got this, they can mess around and get their butts whooped.
So that which leads to my next question. I'm gonna ask you, Talent, does Doc Rivers get fired if the Sixers lose to the first round to DC to Washington?
No. The Sixers organization has a little more patience than the average. They're a rough city. They're a tough city. Even if they was to get upset, I don't think they would fire Doc. I think Doc job is safe for at least 2 more seasons.
Big, is Doc job safe if the Sixers lose to Washington this first round?
Man, I haven't even thought about that. I don't think so. I mean, you know, remember just a few years ago, Sixers, the whole Sixers motto was trust the process. So I think, like Talent said, he probably got 1 or 2 left, even if they do lose this year.
Rodney Perry, you agree with them? Because, you know, Doc got shot out of LA real fast.
Hey, they gave him a long rope in LA, but I mean, I hadn't thought about that, Frank. That's a great question. Is Doc done? If they get bounced in the first round, he could be.
That's what I think. I think he could.
I mean, if he get bounced in the first round, you came here to change our culture, and this what we get your ass out of here, Doc.
Yeah, that's what I think. Because let's be honest, Doc Rivers. I don't know if you thought about this figure. You thought about this Talent. Doc Rivers. This would be the 3rd series he lost early that he was supposed to win. The 3rd one. You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe they should sue Doc Rivers maybe they should sue Doc Rivers for malpractice.
but
That's hilarious.
Not with this organization, Frank. You can't go by the other ones. You got to treat. And I'm very disappointed in you 3 married guys for thinking like this. Every time your marriage don't work, the new wife can't look at it like that, man, because it's doomed from the gate if she looks at it like that. You can't judge this marriage by the last marriage. That one was blonde with blue eyes. This one got dreadlocks. This one, you know what I'm saying? So the same analogy applies to this. Was he on other teams and didn't get it done? Yeah, but the Sixers got to go into it looking like this is what you're doing with us. So this one, you blew this one. And next one come up, you blew that one. By the third one, now you count those three. You don't count the three from the other two. This is Philadelphia, bro. The Liberty Bell's cracked.
Let me ask the next question, man. The next question I want to ask you guys, since
that has nothing to do with anything we were talking about.
Yeah,
the
I know.
Liberty Bell is cracked. It's very funny.
That's why
I love it.
That's why we kept the conversation moving.
I love how y'all had all straight faces. Like
you need all they need is a little gorilla glue down there. They need some gorilla glue.
All right, here's the next question. I'm gonna start with you, Talent. Go around the room. I'm gonna start with you. Is the Andre Drummond experiment working in Los Angeles? And what do you think? Do you think the Lakers are happy with him, or do you think the Lakers are content, or do you think the Lakers are upset with where they're looking at now? Because the last 10 games, Andre Drummond experiment. I don't even want to say what I think. You tell me what you think.
Well, I honest to God, I think that he's the luckiest camper in the league right now. You know why? Because they have other problems that they're worried about. I don't think they're looking at him like that. I think if everything else was perfect, they'd be damn sure looking at him like, yo, Drummond, what the hell? But they're so worried they're not getting up to par play from AD. LeBron is questionable every time. Like 2 tweaks to the ankle and just coming off of IR and the point guard playing where he wanted to be, and they want to tighten up on the D. They got so many little tweaks and issues. He's kind of under the radar for them. He's kind of, if everything else was clicking, I think they'd be on him with a high beam microscope. But there's a little less talk about it. Every now and then you hear a little chatter, but I think he's the luckiest camp in the game right now, especially coming into these playoffs.
Big, do you think Andre Drummond experiment is working? Now, I know you watch basketball a lot, and I know you know the stuff that big men do more than most people. So tell me.
Here's the thing. The LeBron, and this is not an attack on LeBron James. The LeBron James brand of basketball has never worked with a big man that clogs the middle. You got to have a big man that is able to move away from the ball and just give you little pieces here and there. Andre Drummond is not Dwight Howard. He's not JaVale McGee. And I don't think it's working because he's just not that kind of player. If it was the kind of team where you would toss the ball into him and let him go to work, Andre Drummond works for that. And I think I think the fact that the NBA thinks that you could just plug in any big man anywhere, I think that this experiment is showing you that all big men are not created equal. Period.
Rodney Perry, what you think?
I'm sick of people bringing up JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, for that matter. Those two gentlemen combined for a grand total of their whole career as Lakers, 6 points. Okay. They wasn't scoring. They wasn't blocking shots. Mm-hmm. This guy Drummond is playing better than both of them put together.
Wow.
He is, and he has been. Is the experiment working? Absolutely. The guy, he's an energy guy. He brings energy to the game. He takes pressure off of AD, and he's going to continue to do it. And let's not forget, they still got down the center. They're still there. So I hear what y'all saying, but it's not over. And the team hasn't been there itself because they've been gelling toward now, and they gel at the right time. I think going into this playoff, you're gonna see these Lakers stand up and fight.
Okay. Now I'm gonna say what I think. Honestly, I think it's not working. I think you're absolutely wrong. I don't know what games you watching because the Andre Drummond experiment is not working. This dude ain't getting no rebounds. He's not doing nothing compared to what JaVale McGee and what's his Dwight Howard doing. Yeah, he ain't doing nothing. That's why I asked Fig what he thought. Fig watched the big men too. It's
15
not
rebounds against the Pacers, 13 rebounds against the Pelicans, 7 rebounds against the Warriors.
Okay, now that's just 3 games that you mentioned, right? And you're mentioning that for the last 3 games. Do out of 10 games compared to 10 games, because I saw it on Fox Sports this morning. how they did the 10-game comparison with JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, and he's got maybe half, in the last 10 games of the season. So the experiment's not working.
What was the point comparison? The point comparison?
Before I answer that part, his even makes it even worse. The kid who came, Dwight, what's the guy's name who came from the Clippers? He's even worse. You know the kid who came from the Clippers with the dreads?
Morris.
No, with the dreads. With the dreads.
Harold. Montrezl Harrell.
Montrezl Harrell has been missing the entire last 10 games of the season. Like missing. So the Lakers take those two guys out. They put these two guys in, and you're saying the Lakers are better or as good? Is that what you're saying, Rodney Perry?
I'm saying with AD and LeBron stepping into the game, everything changes. If you evaluating the Lakers without those two guys, you're not looking at the same team.
Can I say something here?
Go ahead.
I think what Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee gave to the game is severely underrated. When you look at the NBA and you look at basketball from the perspective of offense, you miss a total part of the game that is severely valuable when it comes to the playoffs. You take a player like Draymond Green. They clown Draymond Green for having a triple single. Yet Draymond Green is one of the most underrated defenders. As a matter of fact, he's up for Defensive Player of the Year again this year. So what Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee brought to the Lakers last year was a presence in the paint that other teams couldn't override. Dwight Howard single-handedly took the Joker out of his whole game last year in the playoffs. He completely frustrated him, took him out of his game, and he rendered him ineffective last year. So when you talk about points, you miss the other side of the ball and the effectiveness of what JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard did for the Lakers last year. Let's not forget, they won because of what JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard gave to their team last year. They won a championship.
And that's all the point I was trying to make. Is that like the two big men they have right now is the reason why I made that bet with you offline, Rodney Perry. That's the reason why I made that bet.
So to be clear, the reason the Lakers won last year was because of Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee.
They're one of the reasons.
They were contributed to it.
With Rajon Rondo and their bench. Look, Rodney, nobody wins in the NBA without a bench. Nobody. And
nobody wins a championship. Nobody wins a championship in the NBA without defense. Name one team that doesn't play defense that wins a championship in the NBA. Not one.
I think he picked and heard only the words he wanted to hear. So let's move on.
I know.
He only words he wanted to hear. He think I said. Okay.
Let's recap what you said. Don't worry about points.
I didn't say that. I did not say that.
We didn't say that. I didn't say
don't worry about points.
Just kind of almost said that.
No, I did not. Not even close.
Not even almost.
Not even close.
You said discount offense. Let's take.
I did not. I said offense aside, you cannot discount what JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard did on the defensive side of the ball. Now, JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard gave a lot on the defensive side of the ball, but on the other side, LeBron James and Anthony Davis gave a lot on the offense. So what they gave the Lakers last year, balance.
And I said, to be clear, in order for you to win an NBA championship, yes, it's great to have a big three, but no team has won any NBA championship without premier play from the bench. No team has. You can't name one. You can't name one. There's no team.
So when you say in the bench, you saying JaVale McGee
on the bench, Rajon Rondo on the bench, Dwight Howard coming off.
Well,
the
first of all, McGee was starting.
Did he start? Okay,
horribly.
Okay, well, let's lose him start. You get Dwight Howard,
so he wasn't coming off the bench.
Yeah, well, yes, he was. He came off the bench on and off. Yes, he did.
You either starting or you're not, Frank.
In different series, they played them different depending on the team that they were playing.
Right.
So some game, like one series, Dwight Howard didn't play it.
You know what?
And then in the next series,
but y'all both got on glasses. Y'all smarter than me.
right, let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next subject. All right, I'm gonna start with you, Talent, because you ain't said nothing in a minute. All right, Talent, you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? Victor Oladipo, right? Word came out this morning that Victor Oladipo probably won't play the entire season for next season.
Wow.
For next season. So if Victor Oladipo, not only did he not play this season, a lot this season because he got hurt, and he don't play next season, should Victor Oladipo request to be traded, to the request to be cut, so he could at least have an opportunity, because he's in a contract season now. He's in a contract season. He's in a very particular. He's not going to get the windfall he was going to get. He's not going to get that. He literally is falling into what's that big man who started playing for Peanuts, who's now on Golden State? I forgot his name.
Boogie.
Boogie. Now he's falling into the Boogie category. So what do you?
He plays for he's playing for the Clippers now.
Yeah, that's right.
He's on the Heat.
I don't know. I think
in Miami.
No, he's on the Clippers. He's on the Clippers.
Clippers.
So Talent, if you're Victor Oladipo and you're in a contract year right now, what should you do? Because you ain't playing next year.
Wow.
Well, I think you do that. You get out of there. You set yourself up to be somewhere that you want to be at. Clearly, that's not the place to be. He was already trying to be out of there, but you got a whole season, bro, of rehabbing and trying to get back, hopefully, to the great play that he was. This is a sad thing for this guy, because fun guy to watch, productive player, had consistency to him, an asset on any team in the league. I do what you say, Frank. I'm already trying to get out of here and line my ducks up for the future. A whole nother season.
Yeah, it's ugly.
Damn, sucks.
Big.
I feel bad.
It's sad, man, because this sort of puts him in the same category as like Isaiah Thomas. You know, Isaiah Thomas was he was balling out. He got the hip injury right before he was ready to get that bag, and this is sad because and especially Oladipo was injured prior to this year. Like he had nagging injuries leading up to that he hadn't recovered from. He just came back, got injured again, and then you're saying even next year he will not be available. That's really detrimental to his I would say financial NBA career. I'm not saying that he'll never be able to come back, but he'll never be able to get. I doubt very seriously if he'll be able to get that huge contract again.
Rodney Perry, Victor Oladipo is fighting a right quad tendon injury. It looks like he might not play all of next season also. What's your thoughts?
He's not playing for Golden. For what did y'all say he was playing for?
Miami.
No,
he plays for Houston right now, but he's not gonna play for anybody right now.
Well, he's on the roster in Miami. I mean, these injuries happen. If I was him, I wouldn't worry about the future until I had to. Just work on getting better. The guy is a perennial all-star. He's a great player. He showed glimmers of greatness when he was with the Pacers, and he just got to try to get himself 100%. So when he come back, whenever he come back, he make a splash. He can't afford to come back and not make a splash. Yeah, that's the most important thing for him, no matter what.
Yeah, he's staring down the barrel of literally Boogie Cousins' career. But Fig, you ready for the top dogs?
Yeah, man. And last piece, man. He was Victor Oladipo was one of the players that the Knicks was looking at acquiring in the offseason.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's really bad.
He's a top dog himself, Fig.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Go ahead.
All right, here we go with the top dogs this week. This is my 5. Tell me what yours is. This is my top DAWGS. I got my man Shohei Ohtani batting .263, 13 home runs, 32 RBIs batting in as a starting pitcher. Shohei Ohtani doing the damn thing, man. God, dog, a pitcher. This is a pitcher. I got my man Jason Tatum, even though Frank said it was insignificant because he don't think that the Celtics is going to win the whole damn thing. My man Jason Tatum is a dog in the play-in game, dropping 50 points. You understand what I'm saying? He dropped 50. How many players in the NBA can do that? 50 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists over the Washington Wizards, 118 to 100. Jason Tatum is a dog. I got my man Steph Curry. Lord have mercy. The babyface assassin dropping 46.7 rebounds, 9 assists to lead the Golden State Warriors into the play-in round of competition by beating the Grizzlies 113 to 101. Steph Curry's a dog. Next on my list, number 4, is my man Corey Kluber of the New York Yankees. Pitches a no-hitter, 9 innings, just 100 pitches, 9 strikeouts to defeat the Texas Rangers 2-0. Corey Kluber doing the damn thing for the Yankees. Last but not least on my list, number 5, I got one of the Jonas Brothers, ladies and gentlemen. He don't sing, but he can play the hell out of some basketball. My man Jonas Valanciunas, 23 points, 23 rebounds, and 1 assist. Big man leading the Grizzlies over the Spurs 100-96. Those are my 5 top dogs. Tell me what yours is.
Yo, I love it.
Go
I love
ahead,
it.
Frank. Go ahead, Frank. Go ahead, say something, Frank.
Look at Frank. My only complaint is, you know,
Really?
he picked the top dogs. He can't pronounce the name. And my main man,
How about this?
Luanda.
But how about this, Big? Is LeBron James ever going to be a top dog?
I guess so. You know what? See, the thing is that he's been out for so long. When he plays a team that is challenging to them, then yeah, probably in this next series, if he does something really spectacular.
I mean, he hit the game-winning shot against Golden State.
Oh man, that was a lucky shot. Even he said it.
Okay.
He said
Okay,
I saw 3 rims and I just shot at the one in the middle.
Right, you would have to let him take up 3 spots, Rodney, because he scored 3
you know what,
runs.
Vic? I don't like the top dogs if you didn't throw that little slight at me about Jason Tatum saying that. Like, I'd have gave you top dogs for this. So since you did that, nah, not going to do that.
Jason Tatum is a dog, man.
I ain't doubting that. I'm not
I
doubting that.
almost left him out because you was like it wasn't significant. I was like,
I said I did not say that wasn't.
Is that Jason Tatum's jersey?
I said this is Kyrie Irving's jersey. I mean,
actually, his jersey, because it seems like a little big on you. Robbie, I am 6'2", bro. I am tall. Just to let you know. But that was a good one, Rodney. That was a good one. Oh, that was a good one. So ain't gonna stab me in the throat.
I've already lined up like 4 or 5 jokes, but I don't want this show to go over because I had a lot of jokes about that hat, but I'm gonna let that slide.
This hat is fly as hell.
Yeah,
that hat is fire. It got me feeling like I want to go to one of those family affairs type thing. You know, I want to see somebody playing a ukulele.
Okay. Rodney's cracking on me, and he's sitting in one of the preschool chairs. But that's okay. It's all good. It's all great.
Oh my God, that's funny.
All right, so let me ask you all the next. The next thing I'll ask you is where am I? Where am I? I don't know if you guys heard this next story because this one is a crazy one to end on. This baseball player, former baseball player, was in love, dealing with the girl and everything else, going down, getting ready to marry the girl and everything else. Come to find out, the girl is 13 years old. He's 26. He ended up getting charged, filed against him because his mother wanted to end the relationship and everything else. His former Pittsburgh Pirates closer named Philip Vasquez, he got found guilty of statutory rape and child porn. He got 15 counts because he was messing around with this girl who was 13 years old. Talon, what is your thoughts about hearing about this dude? He literally, he said he in love with her, and the mother found out because they were swapping pictures on the phone and everything else. What do you think about this when you hear this story?
Well, you just said picture swapping. I was just thinking to myself, it had to be a virtual thing. This could not be, me dating her and then I'm surprisingly finding out she's 13. 13? This
13.
has to be an online romance that they're feeling, or he's 26, so he's thinking he's in love. But I think this is despicable, bro. Like, 13? Think about that, man. I got a 13-year-old daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be in jail right now, bro.
Yeah, I can't even knock that out. Wait, what you think? 60 seconds.
Was this strictly online, or had he ever met this girl in person?
I think he met them in person because they were swapping pictures and all this other stuff. I think they met in person, but I don't know.
Listen, I don't know. Listen, you know what? It calls into question the mentality of this dude. How do you have a conversation with a 13-year-old and don't know that she's 13? Where's your mentality? I mean, I don't even know what to say, man. That make no sense to me whatsoever. I don't even understand.
Lost words.
What did we talk about? Jolly Ranchers, Reeboks? Like, how you have a conversation with a 13-year-old and not know that she's 13? She don't know nothing.
Rodney Perry, what's your thought? 60 seconds.
As a father of 5 girls, I want to walk up to this guy and fuck him up. And excuse my language, man, but there is no way that he didn't know.
Right.
Exactly.
There is no way. He exchanging numbers, having conversations. That this is a child.
Yes, sir.
So I'm appalled, and I would enact the same judgment if I was incarcerated, that in real life, if I see him.
Yeah, you can't knock that. Anything else. All right, so that's the show. Me and my big shirt get ready to roll up out of here for Friday for the weekend. Me and my big shirt, you know what I mean? But
I know you ain't got no pants on when you got your knees up right.
I got my pants on. Now show everybody your kindergarten chair. I bet you don't turn around, do it.
No, don't turn around, Frank.
Don't turn around.
If that's what you need to say, man,
Tell everybody what you got going on this weekend, bro. What's going on?
Hey, man, follow your boy on all my platforms. Today about 4 o'clock, I'm getting on with my race debater show. We're going to talk about this whole abortion thing, man. It's out of control. Men making decisions for women. I'm at It's Just Comedy on Twitter. I'm Talented Comedian on IG, and King Talent Harris on Facebook. You know what it is, comedy.
Big.
Man, I was gonna have a show tomorrow, but it got canceled. But that's okay. I'm still in the building, hanging out, doing the damn thing, man. I'm gonna get me some sun. And Monday through Friday, your boy's on Box Seats, 1 to 2 p.m. This is the best damn sports show on TV. Don't nobody laugh like this, baby. Nobody.
Yeah.
Recognize.
Rodney Perry.
The website is rodneyperry.com, and new item on the website, giant jerseys. Frank will be modeling all the jerseys so you can get a sense of how big they are.
And next to that will be the hats for the Commodores.
That hat is fly. You can't hate on that hat.
Hey, as long as you modeling your Commodore hat, I'll be modeling my big shirt.
Indeed.
Rodney, I'm gonna call you about one of them bracelets, man. I'm gonna call you about one of them bracelets, yeah. Rodney.
Send me your address. Just send me your address.
Right, y'all. We gotta get ready to go, Rodney. Today we gotta do that show today. Hey, y'all, we gotta get ready to go for the weekend. Thank you all for obviously watching. You all know the name of the show. It's called Box Seat. Starting next week, you know what we gotta do? We gotta add some guests. We're gonna have some more comics. We're gonna have some athletes and all that stuff. We're gonna have some stuff lined up for this week. Make sure y'all be safe. It's Friday. You can check out Rodney where he's at. You can check out Fig where he's at. You can check out Talent where he's at. But you all know that we all are here on Box Seats on the channel called The Humor Mill. Y'all have a safe weekend. Peace.
Peace.